That's just a dramatic pause. Just for fun. All right, everybody, let's get going. It is time for the, what is this thing? Oh, yeah, it's the SharePoint Framework and Viva Connections bi-weekly sync. Wowee for June 26, 2025. Wow, the only June 26, 2025, as we were just discussing. That's it, folks. All right, here we go. I'm Chris, and there we go. All right, we've got an exciting agenda for you today. Of course, we're going to go through and tell you all the things that are happening. It may be summer over here, but people are still hard at work doing all sorts of updates to community samples and repos and everything. We'll go through all that, and then we will take a photo together. Woo! And then we've got 3 beautiful demos for you from Adam, Katrina, and Henry. And that should be really exciting. And so prepare yourselves, everyone. Here we go. Let's go! First off, if you are not aware, we have got a lot of stuff for you. So we've got a whole YouTube channel of a bunch of videos. That's all of these demos you're going to see today will end up there individually, along with the call itself, along with a bunch of other things. So if you're looking for kind of video content, how to get into that, please go over there and do the, what is it, like and subscribe? Is that still a thing? Am I from 2008? I don't know. All right, then you head over to LinkedIn and do your businessing over there. We can do some businessing together on the LinkedIn. Woo! The most exciting of social platforms. And then, of course, we've got a ton of repos for you. Both tools and samples. So if you're not aware, we have hundreds and hundreds of samples all across SharePoint Framework, Power Platform, list formatting, and so on, and even Copilot type things. Ooh. And all of that can be found at this one link over here, this aka.ms/community/home. So catchy. And here we go. If you are not aware, you are on a call right now. It's one of these calls, or you're watching the call, and you could have been on this call live. You know, so next time. Here you go. But if you want to do that, you can find all the information here, including to get the different links to sign up and add them to your calendar and so on. We've got all these different calls. Very exciting. And speaking of those calls, coming up on the 1st of July, that's Tuesday, we've got the 365 and Power Platform call. And we've got a couple of exciting demos from Shivi and Shrushti. And that'll be fun. So please sure to join us for that in our summer bonanza. Is that what we're calling it, David? The summer bonanza? I just made that up.
Sure, but yeah, community takeover. Community takeover. Wow. Rodeo bonanza.
Bonanza. We need more sound effects. All right, here we go. And of course, if you would like to be one of the presenters, we would love to have you. So we've got at least one first-time presenter today, and you could be our next first-time presenter. So if you'll just come here and fill this thing out, we'll be happy to walk you through it. Whether you would like some advice on slides, or you would like just to run through it, or if you're interested to share anything you've got, right? Whether it's you've just figured something out, it's a getting started type demo, those are extremely well received. Or if you've got something like I've been working for years and it's amazing, you can show that off too. All right, let's move on though. David, talk about this.
Yes, so it is our Sharing is Caring initiative and program. We just had a session on Monday, and it was fantastic. And if you're unfamiliar, you may say, well, what is it? Why do I want to be part of it? It is the gateway to contributing to the community. So if you've never worked with GitHub and you're afraid of that hub of gifts that GitHub hubs, those weird phrases like pull request and fork and blame and raw, and what do they all mean? We will demystify it. These are live sessions. They are hands-on. They are safe space, which means we do not record them. So you're free to ask any and all questions that you would like. And we try to get them scheduled at least every month. So we've got the next schedule coming up soon for July. We had a great time, had first-time contributors there, and it counts as a contribution. So you definitely want to take advantage of it if you can. It is absolutely no cost. So just head over to ak.ms/sharingiscaring, and when the new session is scheduled, you will be able to sign up for it. We'll let everybody know. And of course, once you do contribute, you are part of our, or can be part of our recognition program. We do need you to opt into this. These are badges created by Credly, official and accredited. They are fun. We got even more coming up soon. You see things like the React controls, that list formatting with the horse on it. We have a few days left of Star Wars season, and then we're going to get into superhero season. So the porcupine rises. Yes, we've got some superhero themed badges coming up, and we like to have fun with these, but they are real and accredited. They show you're making a difference in the community. You get a Credly profile, and they show and showcase the work that you're doing in the community. And why does that matter? We all want that promotion. We all want that bigger client. It shows that you are contributing to the community in ways that some are not. So it is a way to show off your ability to contribute. It shows that you are making a difference and that we appreciate you. And it is absolutely no cost. There is absolutely no cost to it. We cover the cost. So please don't feel like it is going to cost you anything. We got you covered there. But we do need you to opt in, aka.ms/community/recognition, and then we will find all the work that you're doing and recognize you. So thank you, Chris. Back to you.
If you would like it to cost something, you can feel free to Venmo me personally. All right. Now let's talk about open source projects. So if you're looking for a spot to contribute, or you're looking to see what other people have been doing all over the place, this is where we're going to talk about all that. So let's talk about this first one, though. We've got a Copilot prompt library. So if you've got a cool idea or cool instructions for an agent or something you'd like to share, something you found that works for now, right until they change it, please head over here. Come over here for the inspiration. Come over here to share. We would love to have that. In fact, Adam, I think you're going to talk about this one. Is that right?
No, that's the prompt of the week. That's you.
Oh, that's me? Well, great. Well, this is the prompt of the week. There you go. I did not read it ahead of time, and I'm not going to read it now. I'm so sorry. Something about Peacekeeper. I saw that movie. Was it George Clooney? That's a sweet reference. There you go. All right, but sure, check that out. I bet it's awesome. I apologize for not having read it. All right, moving on. Julie, though.
Yeah, I don't see Julie today, but we got our version 4.15 to be released on July 14th, so be on the lookout for that. It's going to include package and documentation updates, minor fixes to add copy from content type hub, which you have to say super fast and all at once to return the correct content type queryable. And so version 5 updates have started, so you can see the project in the repo. There's, of course, version 4 nightly builds. PNP.js is absolutely amazing, everybody. Billions and billions upon billions of downloads it has incurred. So if you're doing SPFx and you are transacting with anything in any way, you definitely want to use PNP.js, and you can check it out on our GitHubs. Chris, back to you.
Julie, you sound terrible. All right, but Gary, I know you're here. Gary. Lead us, Gary.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, so CLI for Microsoft 365 version 10.9 beta release. So it's a very small release, actually. We've only got one new command, which is for Viva Engage. If you want to remove a community, you can now use the CLI for that. But we have the usual kind of improvement updates as well that documented fully in the release notes. So to find everything, go to aka.ms/CLI-M365/notes, and you'll get all the details there. If you want to try the latest beta, just use the @next tags on npm or on Docker. And if you have any questions about CLI, how to use it, why you would use it maybe, you can join our Discord server and ask questions in there, and the lovely folks will respond to you. So go to aka.ms/CLI-M365/Discord for our invite code. On to the next slide. So we have a new release of Dev Proxy. So this is version 0.29. So this is a big architectural update. So we've done a lot of internal work to better align Dev Proxy's internals with .NET practices. One of the big things that we've got this release is our Dev Proxy MCP server, which is now live in VS Code. So if you're wanting to use Dev Proxy and you're not quite sure what config to create, now you can do that in natural language because our MCP server is trained on our docs and it will generate the config for you, which is super awesome, and it's really cool to try as well. So if you're in VS Code, download our Dev Proxy Toolkit extension and that will install the MCP server for you automatically. A couple of other updates. So we have exposed the prompts that we use in Dev Proxy when we're using AI, like we're using the local language models. So we've exposed those so that you can overwrite and provide your own as well for your own use cases. Some general improvements to logging and some cleanups on the uninstall when you're in Windows. But this version 0.29 is likely to be the last zero release because we're looking to release version 1 very soon, hopefully in the next release. So if you're trying out Dev Proxy, please get in touch with us if you find any issues. This is a big update because we don't want to go into the V1 and then have any more changes to make and then break you again. But if you want to get any of the details about Dev Proxy, what you can use it for, go to aka.ms/devproxy and you will find all the information there. Back to you.
Wowee! That's beautiful. All right. So let's talk about these things. So I don't know if you're like me, right? When you want to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? You go out and you plant some wheat and you grind it all up, and you make the bread yourself, and you get the peanuts, and you grind those up, and you grow the berry. Right now, of course not, right? You start with the components pre-bought, and then you put together your special, unique sandwich, and maybe you throw out the jelly, and you put a banana on it, because that's the best way, right? The same thing is true with SPFx. See what I did there? Woo! All right, so we have this idea of these reusable SPFx controls. We've got both the property pane controls, and we also have, if you're working with React, a bunch of React controls there for the main part of the web part. And if you are working on SPFx, and you're making web parts, how are you not using? That's what I want to know. That's so much harder, right? So there are so many controls here, things like people pickers, list pickers, all of your standard type controls, and a bunch of other controls. That way you can work on making your sandwich taste as good as possible. Wow! All right, Adam, are you around here? Let's talk about this thing.
Yeah, this one's mine. So we just had, or will have, a new pre-release in a bit. We just merged like 30 minutes ago a PR that will issue a new pre-release. We just need to publish it. But this pre-release will give and provide an additional language model tool in the GitHub Copilot agent mode, which now you can, as you can see in this really small screenshot, you can mention it and it will run an upgrade scan of your SPFx project and will do the upgrade for you to the latest version of SPFx. So really hope you will try it out to upgrade your previous versions of your SPFx project to the latest one. We support always the latest published, so not the 1.21, not the 1.22, which is now beta. Other than that, we had a lot of housekeeping, like adding tests and refactoring our code to make it clean. And we are preparing for the future, which we now set a new milestone for SPFx Toolkit. It will now support all versions of SPFx. So currently, you could still use it with older versions, with projects that have older versions of SPFx, but it was always moving toward the latest, so giving upgrades or validating your workspace for the latest version of SPFx. Now you will able to pick the version of SPFx, or it will read the version of SPFx you want to support from the UMA generator you have installed or from the project you have currently opened. So this is yet to become, but it's an awesome milestone, and we want to add the support, and the issues are already there if you want to help us out. Okay, happy coding, everybody. Back to you, Chris.
Wow. David?
Yes, thank you, Chris. So Hugo is out today, everybody, but I am covering this. He is working on processing all those samples. He's trying to slap on some peanut butter and jelly to each of them to make each of those web parts taste delicious. That wasn't at all fabricated. Everybody actually laughed. But be on the lookout. He'll be back soon, and we will absolutely get those processed. But we also have ACEs, and yes, there are ACE, what are they? ACE extensions, adaptive card extensions that are available to you. So some new ones from Lucas, Zhao, one of our favorites. We've got the My Location card, the Service Health card, the generic input new item from Amory. So thank you all. There are dedicated badges for this, so we absolutely are excited to see those sent out soon. And thank you all for your contributions. Again, amazing to see all the contributions across the spectrum of projects within the community. So keep it up. And I think that takes us, what, Chris, to the picture time? Is that right? Back to you, Chris. Well, no, back to you, David.
It is right.
So turn on your cameras. All right, everybody, turn those cameras on. We will get the together mode here. And let me share my screen so we can get that. And come on, teams, you can do it. There we go. Together mode. Let's turn that on. There we go. It is loading, even though I'd already told it to load. There we go. I'm seeing all those fantastic faces. All right. Excellent. Let me move that over so we see all bigger. And Zhao, and all right, I see Peter Paul, excellent. All right, see Henry, excellent. We'll give it just another second. We're doing good on time. I know that Teams is a little latent on turning on that camera sometimes, so we'll give it just a second for everybody to show up, and we will call it. I don't see Chris. I'm Chris, disappointed in you. You should be seeing a warrior horse. Okay, all right. Well, I'll take that as a no. All right. That's right. Chris is incognito. He's in that empty seat right below me there. That's him. He's in Teams Protection Agency. Okay, let's give it a countdown, everybody. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's wave to the community. Great to see you all. Excellent. Love the passion. Love the energy. Wonderful, wonderful. Get this shared out on the interwebs and the socials. Great to see you all again. So grateful for you all being here. Wouldn't be possible to have these without all the energy that you bring each and every day. All right, Chris, back to you.
Ooh, wowee. All right, then I think it's time for the actual demos. All right, Adam, you were up first. So whenever you are ready, Adam, go ahead and take on over.
I'm ready. I hope you see my screen. I hope you see the warrior horses in VS Code, Chris. So you're satisfied with it? Okay, let's start today. I don't have any PowerPoint. I will be using VS Code only. So let's start demo time. Okay. So hi everybody. Today I'm gonna, I hope, quite quickly show you a demo time web part which I created for the for the SharePoint hackathon, which was this year. And okay, I'm a dev. I'm a part of the PMP core team. I'm a maintainer of some projects maybe you know or use, like CLI for Microsoft 365 or SPFx Toolkit or others. So yeah, feel free to reach me out if you need any kind of help. And what's this demo all about? So I'm going to present a small hack I created for the SharePoint hackathon this year. And what it does, it creates, like, adds an additional presentation mode for your SharePoint pages. So then it turns your SharePoint, every page can become like a small demo, like a demo time, like a presentation. So without changing it, like each section to a slide. So it's actually trying to enhance each section as a slide and adds this enhancement. And I was like, the idea came from actually the hackathon itself. I didn't have anything I could add like publicly, so I had to create something really quickly. I didn't have a lot of time for the hackathon. And since this hackathon was also it was also possible to issue like a site you created, and there was a lot of demos about like movies, about the site they created in SharePoint. I thought, well, why do we don't have this kind of feature already in SharePoint to turn your site to a presentation mode, to a presentation, to slides, to whatever, so it will be easier to explain your site. So this was my idea, and I was inspired by actually this extension I'm using now, Demo Time VS Code, created by the magnificent Elio. And the aim is to stop switching context between like movies, PowerPoint, but maybe stay in the browser or in the context of your work. And it's not a 100% production-ready solution what we'll be showing today. It's just a proof of concept. So if you want to adapt it to your case, you still probably will need to put a bit of love and coding to it. And it's a hack totally, because this web part is manipulating DOMs. It's using DOM as its API. It's enhancing it with additional CSS and injecting its own, I will be presenting it in a while in the code, injecting its own HTML in SharePoint standard UI. So it's something totally not recommended, by the way. So what was a hackathon? So I created a hack, right? Okay, short demo. Let's jump to the browser. So this is a page, like a welcome page for a new employee introduced, created by from a template. And if we go to the edit mode of this page, you can drop this web part like any other web part. It only has some UI presented when it's edit mode. It has those 3 emojis, nothing else, no settings, anything. It's just a placeholder, so you see that it's there. And once you publish it, it's hidden from the UI, so it doesn't like touch any of your content, doesn't add additional padding, anything else. But then you have this additional button demo here and the header and the secondary header of your page. And when you click on it, it treats every section of your page as a slide and present this not fancy, not nice looking tooltip, but with basic information that is attached to this section. You can then use the next button or the previous to move between sections, like you would move between slides and let's say PowerPoint. You can also use keyboards, so there are shortcuts. You don't have to like click around, and you also have the stop button and the play button. So if I play, it's Ctrl-Alt-P, I think, and it turns to the presentation mode. Okay, and those tooltips are coming from a SharePoint list, which is present on the same site. And this list has, a demo time list, has comments attached to every section of a specific page, because there's a demo per page, not per site, but per page on a site. You can create a demo per page on a site. And if there's no tooltip added, then no, there's nothing present here in the upper right corner. Okay, so this is pretty simple solution. And how it was created, let's move. Okay, so the solution is, you can download it already from the SPFx web part gallery that our PMP community maintain. It's quite simple. It has only one component and a service, which the service is pretty simple. Just it takes the items from the list. And as you can see, so it will only work in the context of a SharePoint page. If it's presented in Teams, is used as a web part in Teams, like a personal app, it won't do anything. Then what we do, so as I said, this is a hack. It's not recommended. We query for a specific CSS selector to find this gray header, and if it's not there, it won't crash your page. So even though it's a hack, it won't it won't work, it won't do anything wrong with your page, it will just not load any of the UI. But if it will find those CSS, then it will add this start the demo button, which I presented a while ago. And this is why it's also recommended, because this is something not recommended, because this is something we cannot control. We as developers, this is something Microsoft maintains. So if Microsoft will think that, okay, let's change the name of this class, then this web part will just stop working. Pretty cool. And then when it's not in edit mode, we just add additional HTML coming from this method. I will show it in a while. And if it's so it only like adds this button when it's not in edit mode. When it is in edit mode, then it just gives you a placeholder so you can see it's there. And so this is like this web part is really simple. I didn't use any framework here, just so no framework template. So it may be really a simple concept for especially someone beginning with SPFx to learn something that is not recommended, maybe should learn, but there are some basic concepts you could learn from it, like how to check if the page is in edit mode or you're in the context of a SharePoint site only, not in Teams. So there are some things that are quite neat and every SPFx developer should know of. And then when we inject this HTML, we attached additional event receivers for it and click. So for example, to move to the next slide, which actually just do a bit of magic with CSS and adjust the scroll position. And then we also attach event receivers to like keyboard click items. So you can, as I maybe shown, you have to believe me, I was only using keyboard, not the mouse, clicking event to move to the next section. So move to the next slide. Okay, so what are the use case of such a web part? Let's make this slide a bit bigger. So like in the example I shown, employee onboarding, we all have new employees in our companies and we need to go them through the process of, okay, this is the HR side, this is the process, here you can find the forms and stuff like that. Usually there's a SharePoint site for it, or if a couple of SharePoint sites or pages and stuff like that. So this kind of, to do it asynchronously without like going through this new employee, we could direct him or her to the SharePoint site to a specific onboarding page, and then he or she could start the demo time of this page and go it by their own. Another thing is like a department site introduction. So I don't know, but many companies have their departments, and departments tend to have their site collections in SharePoint. And each of those departments are sometimes structured differently. They have different pages, different resources, and they want to show off their goodies. So what they could do, they can also do a demo for their homepage of their department site. So every employee that will enter their department site would get like a structured guidance where he or her can find anything valuable that department gives. So this is also like a guided tour of a SharePoint site you can create for any SharePoint site. So these like free, top of my head use cases you could do with this kind of web part. And thank you. That's all. This was my really short demo and my hack for the SharePoint Hackathon. I hope you liked it and give it a try, and happy coding, everybody. Back to you, Chris.
Wowee! Nice job. All right. Well, Katrina, if you are ready, we'll just jump straight over to your advanced ticket management features.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, need to share it. Theme. Let me know if you can see it.
We can.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for having me. Again, my name is Katrina. I'm calling from hot and humid Miami, and I'm doing marketing and business development at Plumsail. And I'm also SharePoint enthusiast by day. And thank you for welcoming me in this community, and also giving me this opportunity to present what we built. So let's do the next slide. So what do we do at Plumsail? We specialize in document automation, web forms, and in general enhancing Microsoft 365 and SharePoint environments. We have been creating solutions for 14 years, and SharePoint has been the cornerstone for many of our products, such as the ticketing system that we'll look at today, and others like org chart and Forms of SharePoint Designer. We really value SharePoint's flexibility, and it encourages collaboration, gives you the ability to collect all the digital business resources in one place. And today I'm happy to have a chance to present the ticketing system that was designed specifically for SharePoint Online. It's called Help Desk. Next slide. And we first launched it almost 10 years ago. Since then, both SharePoint and our Help Desk have gone through quite an evolution. And we do choose So why did we choose SharePoint? That's probably the main question, right? The undeniable factor is that SharePoint integrates natively with a lot of tools like Outlook, Microsoft Teams, Power Automate, and it has very great functionality and familiarity that many users value. And it would be relatively easy to create and manage a small ticketing system using already available built-in SharePoint features. For example, we can use Microsoft Form for ticketing submissions, then add some automation using Power Automate, store tickets in a SharePoint list, and maybe create some internal documentation for reference. And this type of no-frills solution will work great for smaller teams. But how can this concept be scaled for teams that need to efficiently manage a high volume of tickets with many agents involved? And this is exactly why we created this ticketing system. So let's jump to SharePoint. We'll start from the ticket submission side, where the user will go in and into the self-service portal, and they can create a ticket. They can also track existing tickets, both active and solved. Here we go. I don't know, it's a little slow for me, but bear with me. And this is a widget that you can embed on any SharePoint page. For example, it could be just like a hub in our case. So another tab that we have here, and it's a brand new feature that we introduced, is knowledge base. It's designed to provide more resources for end users, like useful articles, FAQ, so the end user can browse it, search it, and maybe they don't even need to create a ticket. So, but let's create a test ticket. For example, we can do need help, and okay, you can also attach files, attach images, and we'll click send. And a few words about this widget. We use SPFx WebPart as a wrapper, and it allows to automatically log in current user into the widget. So as you can see, I'm logged in as myself here, and it looks transparent for the end user. And the widget can also be added to Microsoft Teams. And inside, on the back end, it allows to work with tickets and ticket replies in SharePoint list on behalf of the currently logged in user, aka me. So now we can go to the SharePoint list, to actually the help desk, again, in SharePoint too. By the way, quick mention that in this demo, I'm showing it as SharePoint based only, so like servicing just internal users, but you can service external users we have a same widget that can be embedded just on a public website. So just a quick caveat. So let's look at our ticket list. As we can see, there's quite a few tickets open, and we have our new ticket need help right here. So we used SPFx customizers to improve the ticket list look. So we have the status field with 4 different statuses. So new, obviously, in progress is when agent is working on a ticket. Pending is when we are pending an answer from the requester, and solved tickets. These field customizers allow us to direct agents' attention to important values. And also I would like to note that since SharePoint customizers are retiring next year, and I believe they will be replaced by column formatters, we plan to migrate to column formatters as well. And let's look at the SLA policy field here. It is designed to track agents' response time and escalate unresolved tickets. We can set up multiple SLAs on the back end to track tickets priorities, like priority column, status column, and other factors. And each SLA policy can have its own time frame for agent to reply and for the ticket to be resolved, like the total time of the resolution. And SLA field is calculated by help desk change tracking subsystem or webhooks. So when a ticket is created, edited, or a new comment added. And we're also able to use SharePoint site regional settings, the workweek section, to determine the SLA. So these are actually specific business days and hours. And again, we use the SharePoint field customizer to be able to see if SLA has failed, like in this case. So if it's a green background, it means it's all good. Agent has plenty of time to reply to ticket, and they can see exactly how many hours and minutes. Then we have the orange, which means danger zone, and there's less than 30% time left for the agent to answer the ticket. Then we have the red background, which means, yes, SLA failed, as I mentioned, and the agent didn't reply on time. And we also can see how many hours have passed since it's failed. Another status here will be the pending, which means that, again, we're waiting for a reply from the requester. So we just get a pause icon so the SLA is not tracked. And also this SLA data goes into the reports, which is available from the ticketing system too. And in general, you can use the default SharePoint list features, such as we can filter the list, we can sort by particular field, we can add a new view, so also version history, this is all available. So let's open one of the tickets that we have. For example, we can do this one. So let's see. So this ticket form has been modified using our other product, Forms for SharePoint. And as you can see, it opens as a panel using list view command sets. And in this form, support agents can answer the tickets, review all the answers from the requester. They can also view some or add different statuses, add people here, define the priority, etc. So this all can be done inside this ticket. And we have created the Forms for SharePoint tool to add a little bit more functionality to the default forms. So we can close it for now. Another feature that has been added is the search tool. So it is located right here on the top of the list. And if we fill it with query, for example, we can look for password, click enter. And it opens a search panel. Just give it a second. And here we'll be able to look through either a specific help desk site. Well, if it loads on me, I apologize. It's a little slow, might be due to, okay, here we go. So as I mentioned, so you can specify a particular help desk site or choose all of them, as you can create multiple help desks, for example, for different departments, for different teams. So you can either search in all of them or just one. You can also specify the time. So for example, if we just search for the past week, we only get 2 tickets here. Sorry, let me have a sip of water. And of course, this search honors users' permissions and does not expose data that is not available to a particular agent. And for the ticket search, we use SPFx WebPart to display search results page and PNP library to request data from different help desk sites, like I mentioned here. So we can close this. Another feature is knowledge base, which is available for agents. It's similar to the one that we looked at the beginning in the widget. Well, it's not similar, it's the same, same knowledge base, but here we have more articles and they're targeted more to handle certain requests and problems. And essentially it's a web part with the articles stored in a SharePoint articles list. And the search and knowledge base is handled through an application customizer. Users can add new articles, edit and reorganize existing ones, and keep all the required information in one place. Knowledge base is based on SPFx Framework, and it allows to keep all logic and data hosted inside SharePoint, so no backend logic required for this feature. And we have also added the SharePoint agent powered by Copilot. So we have installed a couple. So let's switch to the help desk. As you can see, a couple of prompts are already visible here, but let's look at settings, edit agent. And in the sources, we have specified the document library where the agent will be pulling the answers from. And in the behavior, as I mentioned, we set up a couple of prompts that agents can use, well, the users can use. And in the agent instructions, we have also added a note to get answers only from the documents library and to not put any assumptions in the answers. And I think it's great to mention that the SharePoint agent is great for not just like a search tool, but it can target very specific subsets of documents and create different agents to answer specific problems. So let's ask it a question. For example, can I use help desk widgets on a public site? Click enter. So it will search for a little bit, and we should get the answer briefly. Here we go. So we got our answer based on the documents uploaded in the library, and we can also ask follow-up questions. So in a nutshell, that's the features that I wanted to show how we use the SPFx framework to build a more complex ticketing solution. And I hope it gave you a general idea what is possible. Help desk in general provides a structured and visual experience for both agents and requesters within SharePoint. And as you can see, we fully leveraged SharePoint's built-in features and framework. And we're always excited to see what new SharePoint updates, enhancements, and new features are coming, so we can implement them inside our products, such as ticketing system and other ones. And thank you so much for the time given here. If you have any questions, I'll be in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer. Thank you again.
Wow.
Okay.
Really, really great demo. Thank you so much, Katrina.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. And Henry, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and move over to you. And we can see it.
You.
Go for it. Thank you.
Super. Thank you very much for inviting me on the presentation today. I just basically wanted to give you an overview over a side project that I turned into a SharePoint hackathon submission a couple months ago. So basically, the main question I wanted to answer is, can AI help make SharePoint development easier? And obviously, when you ask that question, the first answer that springs to mind has to be Copilot. You can now create with Copilot. That includes SharePoint pages. I'm sure everybody on the call knows that already. So if you ask it something, pretty specific, like create a HR homepage with typical sections for, your leave allowance, FAQs, and so on, this is the result you get. Obviously, the more often you try, the different the results are. So it makes you different sections, picks the correct web parts, and suggests good copy that fits your request. So basically, in a nutshell, it is focused on generating texts, and it's just a great tool to easily get a new SharePoint page ready specific to your use case. But I have noticed when using this, what about web parts? So if I wanted to just make one tiny section of a page that focuses on maybe the local weather forecast or the stock price of the company, or maybe something like your leave allowance or what's for lunch in the canteen, is there a way to make just a specific web part with a Copilot-like sort of chat prompt? So this was the idea for the Genie. That was just my side project. It is still a free-to-use web part. So if you liked what you see by the end of it, you can come back here, click the scan the QR code, and then you can download it. But basically, it is focused more on generating web parts. It can also do whole pages, but it's been told the system prompt that I use here to really go creative. So it throws in accordions, carousels, search boxes, charts. So there's lots of interactive elements, hopefully, that makes the output quite visually interesting. And it's just a really quick way, similar to Create with Copilot, to mock up those ideas and maybe get inspired by what the Genie has suggested to you. So for whoever is interested in how we do this, it's using Claude. At the back end of this, we send this off. Claude has a system prompt that it needs to stick to very specific components like Tailwind CSS, SHUT, and UI elements, and a specific chart library so that the output looks good. And we've basically tweaked that system prompt. So I'm gonna do a demo of that same system prompt, but I just wanted to also give the audience an opportunity to just give me prompts in the chat. And then hopefully we've got a couple of minutes time to generate those prompts as well. Hopefully that doesn't go wrong, that part. Okay. Then let's go over to my Genie. This is my Genie web part. Basically, I've given it a full width section here, but you could have a much smaller section where you stick this web part in. And then it does tell you, a couple of sort of suggested prompts you could ask it, but I'm just going to ask it the same prompt that I asked Copilot, and I send this off. And this is where I've really struggled with my timing in rehearsing this, because it can really vary how long it takes Genie to come up with an answer. So in the meantime, as we're sending off this big prompt, we'll also try a couple of smaller prompts. For example, I might ask it, make me a stocks widget for Contoso, and I'm sending that off. And then in another tab, I'm sorry, my Teams share bar is in the way, moving that out of the way. And then you could also maybe ask it, create a small widget to submit IT support cases in my intranet, and suggest common IT issues to fill in. And then I'll send that off as well. Let's check back with the original prompt. That's finished. So basically it's come up with a HR page here for us. It has covered all the things I wanted it to do. It's got a section for your leave allowance. You can even request more time off. It's got some sort of frequently asked questions here. It's got your team. So if you liked how that looks, you got a couple of sort of nice big bookmarks, then you could basically keep that. So it will just show you the JSX that it has written here for you. But if you didn't like what it do for you and you wanted to do the whole thing all over again, then you could also just hit reset and start over and ask it a second time. And then obviously the result will be slightly different. Coming back to, whoops, so that didn't work. We'll have to try that a second time. Let's see about my IT support cases. That looks much better. So that's just a small widget, but I could say, printer is jammed. It even seems to have some kind of suggestion system here that I didn't even know about. I did in a way ask for it. So that's really cool. And I can submit that. It's telling me it's submitted, and that's wonderful. Then here my stocks widget has also worked. It doesn't seem to be for Contoso. It does seem to be for Microsoft, which is, I guess, close enough. But obviously you could try this a second time and then hopefully it would get it right. So let me just check the chat. If there is any audience questions, please, if you have any prompt ideas you would like me to do, this could only go wrong. I will try and open my chat. Oh, geez. Major Teams window issues. Here we go. Any prompts from anyone? Lots of chats. Let me check. Then list all documents in a list with number of views. Okay, we'll do that. Sounds good. Let me copy that across. And reset. And if anyone else would like a prompt, you can be kind of creative or kooky with it. And then, the results might be interesting. But okay, so that worked somewhat well. This is very typical for these LLMs, especially the system prompt is obviously a major sort of cause for that needs refined if you wanted to use this in production, because it does just sometimes not want to cooperate. So let's try that again. Nope. Okay, that does not agree with the genie. He's not in the mood to do it. What are the holidays in my state? Okay, let's try that. Very sorry to the previous request. Yeah, I'll reset that and put that in the chat. Let's see. Meanwhile, I'm trying the other prompt as well. Oh, that was a question. How does the page create in the first prompt look, and how was it published? So basically, to answer that question, it's writing a React component here. I don't know why none of these are suddenly working. I swear I didn't train it specifically for my prompts. But basically, it is writing a React component here using, through the system prompt, very specific libraries that I would like it to use. Obviously, this could be tweaked. And then you get a non-functional UI that comes out at the end. So it is purely just there for you to get inspired by it and see, if you ask a LLM a question, how would you do X? How would you do a weather widget? How would you do something that shows you your stock quote, or a dashboard for your sales team, or something for DevOps like issues and sort of pull requests, whatever there is that you would like to display and just want a visual, like a visual functional mock-up of it. That's what that web part does. Here, so third time's a charm. I'm looking up holidays is apparently what I'm doing here with this widget. So I'm going to try and enter a country. It probably won't know anything. No. So it would probably expect some kind of API to be connected to this in the end. Or, maybe you could ask it to stick some sample data in so you have a slightly more robust mock-up. So I could now repeat this another time and ask it to give me some sample data with samples for the US. I'm not sure if that's going to work quickly enough, but we'll give it a go anyways. As I'm checking the chat one more time. Thank you, David, for the praise. We got another prompt, a widget to display a random fact about horses. Very good. Okay, so the more you build on your prompt, the more specific your Genie result will be, basically. So I'll also try this other prompt just by resetting this. And as I have said, if you want to have a play with this yourself, go back to my QR code, or I can show it again in a second, and download this web part. So here we have horse facts, and then you ask it for a new fact. So I think that kind of fits the bill. That's kind of neat, I think. Check in the chat one more time. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. Nope, I don't think I have. Oh, thank you very much, David. You've put the download link in the chat. So just go to that download link, and then there's instructions on how to install it in SharePoint. It's just a web part, SPFx package that you drag in. 360-degree vision with the horses. Yeah, I did not know that. Might want to double check that. It sounds plausible enough, so that's very good. So coming back to what are next steps that we can do with this. So obviously the UI is not functional, and the next step would be to make the UI functional. So adenin, the company I work for, we make web parts like RSS feeds or like your LinkedIn company page feed that you can embed into your SharePoint page. And these web parts, they look very the same. They're just layouts that we have predetermined. So there is, a kind of designer where you pick different layouts. But in the future, I would foresee that something like the Genie, maybe a slightly better trained version of Genie, could come along and help customize the layout. So you could do either some simple tweaks like changing sort of the list view to like a grid view, or you can change the sort order of the results that you're looking at, or you could do something completely interactive with it. So you get, maybe a carousel. So whatever sort of things you could think of that you want to do that used to be a bland layout, you could make that exciting or interesting or just otherwise fit your requirements. Okay, that was my demo. I appreciate it was probably quite quick. But yeah, thank you again so much to the team for having me on. And I hope everybody enjoyed the little demo.
Great job. Thank you very much, Henry. Awesome stuff. I'll go ahead and take back over here. There we go. All right. So if you've got questions for our presenters, we've got time here in the chat. Go ahead and feel free to ask those. But also, if you've got thoughts and feelings about, the calls here and things, either good things or bad things, or suggestions for things you'd like to see demoed even. So we do requests maybe, right? So just fill this out. We would love to hear about that. But before we go on, I need to address a rather serious matter. For those of you that may have seen in the chat already, during the call, a small bug landed on my coffee mug, and right as I was to drink it, and my lip squashed the bug, and it was covered in coffee. I thought the bug would make it. I'm sorry to report, he did not. That's all. Anyway, thought everyone should know. And of course, if you would like to talk more about that or anything else, head on over to our Discord, where we've got like 2,800 plus. That's gone up even more, at least 2 or 3, even while we were talking just now. So come on over. We could do more calls there. We can continue the conversations like we're having in chat here, and so on. But there's dedicated channels to all sorts of things. Please feel free to interact and reach out there if you are one of the cool ones that don't like that LinkedIn. Or, I mean, you can actually do both. All right. Also,
yeah,
thank
Chris,
you very
by
much.
the way, the number just dropped by 1 because the bug was in the Discord server.
Oh, gosh. It's so much tragedy. I don't know how much we can take. The world's a rough place right now for bugs. And maybe even people. Anyway, all right. So our recording of this call will be available in 24 hours on YouTube, and then we will split out the individual demos. So if you saw things you would like to go over a little slower, check that out. We've also got all the links will be posted there, as well as in the chat today, to get access to all of this. And all right, that's it. Wowee! Bye.